in a world crying out for a top 10 show. John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know. Take it away, boys. Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Rocha.
I am Matt Knost.
And we are coming to you live from the Collider offices again tonight, this time in our more cushy leather seat situation instead of out in the conference room, so you're not going to get too many echoes here, I don't think. So we should be good.
For whatever reason, the open space somehow dampens the sound. Doesn't reflect back as quickly as it does in the conference room.
Yeah, it's a little too echoey in there. It bothers me.
Well, it's all hard surfaces, and two of them are made of the same aggregate concrete type material.
Oh, very well said. Oh,
just saying, it's not really good for sound when you have really hard, flat surfaces that are just going to bounce that shit right back at you. Unless that's what you're going for.
Right, sure.
Maybe if we were like a spookier show or something. Ooh, and there's
the
a little
top 10, something like that. What's going on with you? Are you back from, like, were you on a trip somewhere? Were you doing something? What's the situation?
Yeah, I went and visited family over the weekend.
Okay.
Just went back to Nashville and Murfreesboro.
Wow. So you went all the way back across the country to Tennessee.
Flew into Tennessee.
What's that like? Is it a transition? Like, I don't want to get too deep into for yourself personally. If you don't want to talk about it.
Where are you going with this question?
Well, I just want. Is it weird to transition?
That's a hell of a buildup.
I mean, from LA to Nashville, Tennessee. Is there, like, do you sense a difference when you land? Do you sense a difference when you're there? Like a slow down, change of pace, like all that kind of jazz. Like, has ever been in Nashville?
It's different everywhere you go.
Okay, really? That's the answer?
It is.
Well, then don't make travel shows. Don't make. Guess what?
The difference in Nashville is like, all right, you go. People are. Yes, I guess more laid back, but what you're going to run into more often is people hold more doors. You hear "yes, ma'am" than you ever hear more in your life every time I'm there, and it makes you more polite as a person as well.
Right.
So the politeness factor is definitely higher.
Gotcha.
That's for damn sure.
You're like a zealot. You just take it. All of a sudden, you become like a polite person.
No, it just. I naturally hold doors open anyway, but when every person thanks you as they go past, you're like, that's all I'm asking for, really.
Like,
you don't have to do it. You give me a head nod, like you appreciate. There we go. That was for some sort of contact.
You don't need much. The head nod is fine.
No. I'm holding the door, especially. We've all been there.
Yeah.
You hold it, and then suddenly you're holding it for like 12 people.
Yes.
Just one group's coming, and then another one comes at the right, and you're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're just doing this the whole time.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes.
Right.
Just
the worst is when you're holding the elevator door.
Well, what about a tip? Yeah.
A
little something for the effort. That's all I'm asking. At this point, we've had a tribe of people go past.
That's true.
Somebody should just, shuck me $1 or $2.
I agree with that. If it's a whole bunch of people, yes, the last person on the line, and they should be cussing the whole time as they're walking up. Shit, I got to give this guy $1.
Are we all just going to devolve to there? We just carry tip jars around with us at all times. Just pop those out. Hey, I'm doing a service here, guys. A little something for the effort.
I picked up your child from daycare. Maybe $1 or $2. I dropped her off.
You should already be getting that. Are you saying that if you were a dad, you consistently go? I would imagine. It's a lot of gas money you're saving me. How about I would pay in for that?
It's phenomenal how parents trade favors with each other about their children. Like, I have conversations with my friends who have kids, and it's an extensive barter system that they have with their, like, hey, I'm going to pick up Tommy on Wednesday. Would you, from school, would you pick up Susie from the same recital class that you taken your daughter to with my daughter? Like, it's just interesting how this whole becomes a bar. And then some people are like, they take advantage. Some people take advantage of it too much when they work a lot.
Sure.
That other people are picking up their kids, and they take the friendship and all that kind of jazz. It's intense. Like, do you have to have a Google Doc to figure out, like, who you owe pickups to?
I would hope not.
No, you think it's too much?
You don't need a fucking Bismarck to figure out that. This isn't pre-World War I politics where you got all these huge intertwined things and this Machiavellian character is the only one that's propping it up. I think it's simply like, oh shit, I was supposed to do that. I'm sure you forget.
Right.
A certain percentage of the time. That's got to suck.
Right.
If you fail yourself and potentially somebody else's kid. Later.
There's a Copster and Cody. They're taking off for the night.
Love you, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just interesting because I'm at that age now where I think it's pretty clear I'm not going to have kids unless some accidental miracle happens. So it's fascinating to hear people talk about their kids and what they go through. You know, I had a friend she was complaining because she's going through a divorce. She was complaining to me about how she has to negotiate this because she took the house. She got the house. So all his friends, she has to kind of negotiate that a little bit because their kids are in school still, in the school that she shares with her husband's friends. And obviously some of them are her friends as well, but like some of them like are on the husband's side of the whole situation. So it's like, it's interesting how you're going to barter all that system out, and then you have to kind of walk that line and not be too overt about anything, or not get into a discussion about anything, or make a comment about anything, and then hope they pick up their kid and not do it out of spite, you know, that kind of thing. It's interesting, man. It's a whole subculture that I'm stressed enough just maintaining friendships. I can't even imagine maintaining friendships and throwing children
your
into
friendships would atrophy. A lot of those would fall by the wayside. Well, you're just all the time you devoted to that, you're devoting to kids now.
Yeah, that's true.
So bye-bye to those friends. You'll see them every once and again, but no mas on that.
Yeah, if Kristen Smith, if you're listening, no mas on that. Get ready. Get ready. You're about to have a child. Get ready. Just letting her know what she's got.
From a guy that doesn't have kids.
No, not at all.
We both don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Not at all.
You have no idea what's coming, though. You should be freaking out right now.
Well, listen, we got a lot of great responses from last week's show, the Top 10 Star Wars show. I thought people were going to be upset that because Christian dropped out, we weren't going to have Christian. But people, enjoyed the show, even though they had some issues with Christian dropping out, which I thought were hilarious. A lot of very funny tweets. But
well, that I instigated on a lot of fronts.
You really did. You like to goad that boy. You like to goad Christian. You like to poke that bear like crazy.
Listen, I just did it once, and I'm not going to continue to do it.
Well, yes.
Yeah, there's no point.
Oh, you mean for the Star Wars? Because you do poke his.
Yeah, but I don't do it publicly.
No.
The thing is, he likes it, and he likes to give it back, and he's one of those people.
He's East Coast.
It doesn't bother me. I'm not doing it out of spite.
No.
Or anything like that. It's you're one of those guys that enjoys it, and I don't mind it as well as long as I know that you're coming from a loving place.
Right.
Just like you can say whatever you want to me.
Exactly.
I have zero problem with this whatsoever.
It's a thing among stand-ups, right? You talked about that all. You talk about that. I don't want to say talk about it all the time, but you do talk about the fact that to be a stand-up in that green room, you guys bust each other's balls pretty hard. You got to be able to take it.
Yeah, it's not even the green room. It's like hanging out hanging out there. It's all over the club, and you're just kind of shooting the shit. Yeah. You're sharing a commonality.
Ellis invited me out tonight to the Comedy Store.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see.
Have you ever been?
Yeah, I've been to the Comedy Store a few times.
Okay.
But you got to stand in that line. He's covering the beers, he said. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean beers after the 2-drink minimum, or is that going to cover the beers for the 2-drink minimum?
Well, Jesus, how many drinks do you think you're going to have?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Listen, if I got to pay, I'm only in for 6. But if he's going to pay for the first couple, I might do 10. So
I don't drink a lot. That's why I'm asking. What's the point of him buying me the beers if I've already bought enough to get me liquored up
I think he will buy your beers, is what he's saying.
Oh, the 2-drink minimum, he'll buy it.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know comics could do that. I thought that was that was like the owner of the store has to say okay, yes, you're allowed to do that, or no. I didn't know that.
You can pick up somebody's tab.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
It's like every restaurant. You're going to pay the bill, no problem. I'm happy to take your money.
Do I sign it and go Mark Ellis? Do I sign? This is Mark Ellis.
No, Ellis will sign it. They'll put it on his credit card.
Oh.
They'll bring him the bill, and you shouldn't have to deal with a damn thing.
This is perfect.
That's the way it should go. I don't know. Look, Ellis might be telling you that on the front, and then he leaves, and you sit there for the whole show, and you be like, "This is supposed to be taken care of." I was told. I was given assurances. I could see that happening.
Yeah, of course.
Probably not. Ellis is a nice guy. There's no way.
No, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I thought about doing. We were playing around with a bit about where I would interrupt him in the middle of his sets, as if I'm learning how to do comedy, in the middle of his set at the Comedy Store. Where I go, I'm sorry. In that last joke, when you were setting, were you doing this to get to this? How was the construction of? So we were going to do a whole thing, and it was really funny. We were doing it for 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm thinking to myself, that'd be a funny bit to do, for the 10 o'clock show or the 1 a.m. show when no one's really
sure.
People are more sloshed, so to speak.
Yeah, that seems more. It's interesting to open with it.
Yeah,
because you're asking. Well, look, I've done thousands of shows.
You have.
So you have to slowly get an audience into it. A late show is better, I think, for something like that. But I think
people more daffy at night.
Maybe a little bit deeper into the show. That way, the audience is more comfortable with you, and if you can set the tone of. It's a relaxed atmosphere and it's talkative and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then get into it at that point. Now you're selling it. Okay, point of fact here. On that, Joe, why did you make this choice? Well, And you can just
just play with
you can spin that into whatever you want to as long as you set up the character. I think it takes a little bit of setup because it's kind of it's
Right.
asking a lot of an audience to know that that's part of the show
Exactly.
before the show has really started.
Right, and it would be funny if you worked it, but we got to get that on the show.
I know we said it like 3-4 times.
I know. I'm terrible. We're terrible. But yeah, I think it'd be funny, and then eventually you go, well, did that punchline really? I think a better punchline would be, and then by that point, like you progress through the bit to the point where you're telling them how to do the joke.
I think especially if you start off by asking questions and learning the style, and then later on be like, okay, but what you said before seems to contradict what you just did right here, so I don't think that's as good.
It's going to be tighter if you did this.
Yeah, you need to trim that fat off because it's kind of stepping on what you were doing before. I can analyze a joke with you all day and be like, and then here, see that? And then the repetitive nature of you use these two same modifiers, it undercuts it the second time. It doesn't sell it.
I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah. Think about the words here,
I would
man.
love that. I would love that. Anyway, so thanks to everybody who sent some great responses to the Star Wars episode from last week. And I hope you enjoyed Solo. Matt, do you want to tell them anything about Solo?
No, we'll have a review. Actually, it'll be up on the Patreon. We're going to put it up next Friday because then it's a week after the release, technically. Yeah. And it'll be all spoiler, but on the Patreon $10 and up level.
Yes.
That way, everybody, if that wants to listen to us, hopefully within that week you will have gotten a chance to see it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, we'll be doing our Patreon shout-outs.
We are. So hold on.
Stay tuned.
Hold on for that.
Stay tuned.
And for those of you who have been clamoring for us to do a review, it's our first review we've done in a long time.
Yeah, just the two of us.
Solo, yeah, to just the two of us to do a solo review. So that's gonna be fun. I look forward to it. You know, we used to
Who
do
sings
them.
that? Just the two of us.
That's Grover Washington Jr.
Is it?
Yeah.
For some reason, Teddy Pendergrass is the name that came to my head, and I'm like, that's not right.
No.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Teddy Pendergrass. No.
Teddy does love TKO.
Oh, Teddy.
Just another love TKO. No, the Grover Washington Jr. just to end. Who does Stand By Me?
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
In the night.
Yeah.
Was long.
Well, that's Benny King. That's not who I'm thinking of. I forget who does the vocals of Just the Two of Us, but Grover Washington Jr. is the one who composes the song. But Just the Two of Us is the guy who does Another Day. Oh, I forget. I can't think of it right now. Bill Withers. Boom. There it is. Bill Withers does the vocal. Grover Washington Jr. composed the music for that song.
Okay.
That's a little 80s R&B flashback for you there. That's how old we are. Anyway.
It's all right. I threw myself for a half a loop there for like 2 seconds. I was like, I started singing Stand By Me and Not Lean On Me.
Right.
And then I was like, hold on, totally different song. Totally different song, Matt.
Lean on me.
Anyway.
Anyway. So anyway, we this week, this is a Patron subject, right? This is a Patron topic.
Yeah, set for the opening of Adrift.
Yes.
It's coming out.
Yes.
Which once we said it, I almost wanted to text you back like the next day.
Yeah.
But we'd already talked to him about it.
Yeah.
Saying, what about movies where you are set adrift on sea? If this is going to be, because there's probably enough of those.
Right.
But at that point,
You wanted to be really specific.
why not?
Yeah, got to split the atom like you say, like you like to say. It's a good point.
And it ties in better, but this was his topic choice, and we were
Yes.
like, let's go for it.
And wouldn't send us a list, so it's a little weird.
He wouldn't send us?
No.
He
said,
legitimately
I
said,
just want to talk about it. I just want you guys to talk about it.
wow.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
All right. Well, while he's pulling up, I will sit here and vamp. Yeah,
Mackenzie Horner. Is that right?
Yeah.
No. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Yes, top 10 set on the ocean in honor of the film Adrift. Adrift. So
And no list from him.
no list from him.
There's a first.
Yeah, it was. Well, no, because what's her face? Rosa didn't send us a list, did she?
Afterwards, and we did it on the next week's show, I believe.
Oh, right.
Because we didn't get it in time.
Okay.
And Hasso's was the same as well.
Okay. But that was funny.
Yeah, so thank you for the topic suggestion. It's a
Yes.
good one.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was like, there could be some movies that we haven't really talked about or
Right.
they've only kind of popped up on the peripheral.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you ever see him in such and such, and we maybe talk about it for a minute, but it's
Right.
never actually come up in conversation.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Yeah.
There we go.
And here's the thing, like if you want to donate or if you want to become a patron, you can go to www.patreon.com/the top 10 and the $50 tier is where you can choose a topic. And please remember when we choose your topics, send in your lists. So some people don't send in their lists, so it's a little weird, and so but do it so you can choose a topic and then we'll talk about it. We'll break down, we'll give you love, Mackenzie Horner, we'll give
100%.
We'll read your list on the episode.
But if he legitimately was like, I just want to hear you guys talk about that subject, and they didn't want to do it, so be it. It's your show.
Okay.
I prefer that they do it.
Yeah.
But I also like that he's the first that said, "Fuck it, I don't care."
Yeah.
So, tip our hat to that. He's going, look, a road less traveled.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's taking a different path, and I got to respect that, The High Plains Drifter over there going where no man usually goes.
He's a rebel.
Yeah, see?
He's a rebel, Dottie.
Mackenzie, there you go. You did it. You just blazed a new path.
I like the name Mackenzie. Mackenzie's great. Anyway, all right, so we're going to do the top 10 films on the ocean.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good. Because
What do you
there's some films that are adjacent to the ocean that aren't 100% the ocean, and so I had to cut some of those out. So, because I was like, well, it has to be on the ocean, not have to do with the ocean, like ocean part of it.
Exactly.
It has to be on the ocean or in.
There's one specifically. I was like, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
I'm sure others would want to put it on there, but I'm sorry, it's not enough ocean.
Yeah.
Yes, ocean is involved, and it's also like basically it's the biggest threat to this individual, but it's not.
Are you talking about Ocean's 12 or
Yes.
Ocean's 13?
Ocean's 8, actually. I've already seen it.
Oh, hello.
And I was like, I couldn't quite put it on this list.
I'm a little worried about that movie. I haven't seen anything that has made me crazy excited about it, which I'm a little disappointed by. So maybe the movie's good. I hope the movie's good, but we'll see.
Why not? I hope every movie's good.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And I think I've only seen the trailer once, maybe twice.
Okay.
That's all I've seen of it.
All right, fair.
Yeah, it didn't blow me away, but not many trailers do.
Yeah, you're not a trailers guy.
Yeah, I don't seek them out.
It's not your thing.
No, I just rather, I hear things on the people saying, oh, I heard it's good or whatnot.
Yeah.
Or if I've seen billboards and it just piques my interest that way.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good guide for me. If they have a sense of who they are from that, sometimes you get misdirected.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's like, if all this ties in, is doing a masterful job here, maybe they have an understanding of the property. I have more trust in it.
Yeah.
But
that's certainly possible.
it's marketing and advertising, and it's effective, and it's working on me, apparently.
It's a good cast, if nothing else.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you want to tell them how the show works?
Once we set a topic, or Mackenzie Horner sets a topic, we go our separate ways and create just 2 individual lists without his.
Right.
We show back up here, and this is the way the show works. I do my bottom 3, he does his bottom 3, I do my next 2, he does his next 2, then we trade 1 apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the 2 of us.
Boom.
Let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
At number 10,
Yes.
Open Water.
Oh, you put it on there.
Yeah.
Nice choice, man. That's a good movie.
Not a fan. Didn't make your honorables.
It made my honorables. Absolutely. It's not one I go back to watch over and over again. So for me, I didn't quite make that in my mind mentally the top 10 list for me.
Okay.
But it's a great movie, and for an independent film that was made on a shoestring budget, it's scary as hell.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
You just get left in open water. Oh, man, that's got to be one of the worst deaths.
Of course.
Just to be left in open water knowing
Right.
I have no salvation. I'm just dead.
And it's not going to be like the movies where you're thrashing around, blah, blah. You just get taken and dragged under. That's it.
At night.
Yeah, at night.
Just come up and just chomp at you
Right.
and take you away.
You're
and
done.
Yeah, adios, muchacho, because, look, it's you versus Mother Nature. Mother Nature's going to win.
She's undefeated.
Unfortunately, we're out of our environment at that point, and we're kind of screwed.
I would lose my fucking mind. Like, the fear that envelops me, just even thinking about being dropped in the middle of the ocean with no way of getting out of it, scares the living hell out of me.
It's just, I've never been out on open sea, and the idea of being surrounded by even more desolate wasteland than if you were on land.
Yes.
There's more water, and there's nothing. Basically, this is all desert on some level, just the same kind of mentality of you're screwed in literally 2,000 miles in all directions. No, there's nothing within 360 degrees that is like 2,000 miles away. And you're like, this is not good. And usually those places are not in the best of climates either.
Nope.
There's no land masses to slow down the huge things that are brewing up before they roll. Oh, dude, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's why I like reading the books or these types of movies. It's a terror that I'll never experience.
Oh, yeah. Willingly never experience.
Yeah. It's not something, on some level, it does pique my interest. And that's why open water works so well. It's like, oh, shit. I want to go scuba diving so bad.
Yeah.
And to be immersed in their environment like that, but then to be stranded there you're a tourist.
Nope.
You have no gear for this. It's not like you got at least shipwrecked and you got a life preserver.
Right.
you're just fucked.
There's no fucking way. I'm on
No.
that ship, man.
So it's just two people
Yeah.
that just get marooned. And I can't spoil the movie because you already know the movie. You saw it from the trailer and you're like, nobody lives from this.
Yeah.
This is not a happy ending. And you go for that kind of sensibility.
I can't believe that it was such a well-received film. They made a sequel to it. Like, I was like, what's the point?
What did it cost to make? So you just get two more nobodies and make the same fucking story for the same budget.
I was so mad. It was like when the Blair Witch Project had a sequel. I was, this is the point to this? Some things you should not have a sequel for. And Open Water was certainly one. Who needs to go through it again?
Blair Witch you could do because there's at least something that would tie it in again, which is the Blair Witch.
I guess so.
This is just the ocean, so it's just anonymous death after anonymous death. At least Blair Witch, you have something to focus on.
True.
Whereas this is just, it could come from anywhere.
Yeah.
It could, no idea.
Why would I willingly go back and experience this movie again with two different people? It makes no sense. Anyway, all right. So what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Crimson Tide.
Ooh, that was my last cut.
Was it?
It really was. I think for a couple of reasons. One, because it is a Tony Scott film, so it's a lot of flash. And it's another submarine film. And I was like, there's too many submarine films on my list. So I had to cut one of them. And that's the one that legitimately should be cut. So I cut it.
Oh, well, to you it legitimately should be cut. I'm looking at my list like, did I forget a sub movie?
Fair.
Because there's one I was thinking about flirting with putting on in place of that, but I was like, right now Crimson Tide is still higher for me.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's a solid Denzel. It's a solid Gene Hackman.
Absolutely.
Gandolfini before he was Gandolfini.
Yeah.
You got Viggo Mortensen.
Yep.
You've got who else? There's like a whole bunch.
George Zunza's in it, the fatter guy who was like, him from the first 2 seasons of Law and Order.
There's at least one or two others.
Oh yeah, a bunch of character actors in this one.
Was this an early John Hamm too? I don't know.
Oh Jesus, I don't know.
No, he was in that Mel Gibson Vietnam where they get dropped in.
Oh, We Were Soldiers.
We Were Soldiers, yeah. Or When We Were Soldiers.
When We Were Soldiers, right.
He was in that. I think that was his first film or something.
Ooh, that's going to come up. I know that.
Maybe. Eventually.
Let's get that right.
But in Crimson Tide, so it's just a simple, as opposed to the usual submarine, which is, they're either getting bombarded from above or they're going to some crushing depth. The terror is all from within. This is the terror is outside, and they're trying to help stop it. And it's the loss of communication that fouls. And what happens, like the conflict between Denzel and Gene is all predicated upon they have incomplete information.
Yep.
And one wants to do one thing and one wants to do the other. And I'm trying not to spoil this for a movie that's 25 years old or something at this point. I don't know why.
Yeah, why are you so...
Maybe because nobody's seen it.
Well, a lot of people saw it when it came out. It was a box office hit.
Yeah, but don't you think most of our fans are younger? Or at least right on the threshold of maybe they were born the year it came out, but they're like 25.
Okay, we'll do your non-spoiler review of the film.
I don't know.
All right, well,
anyway.
Here's the deal. Gene Hackman is kind of a hard-ass... What is he? A captain?
Yeah, he's the
admiral?
captain of the boat.
Captain of the boat.
Denzel's his XO.
Right, and they come across this nuclear situation, and they have to deal with it, and Gene Hackman gets a bit hardcore. Denzel Denzel has to step in, and this is before Denzel was Denzel. He's Denzel, but he's not Denzel. Where he would be the lead of the movie.
Well, this is literally his kind of, I don't want to say Lion King-ish, but he's standing up to the old lion, showing that it's the next generation's turn, kind of.
Right. Exactly.
You need to retire, old man, which he does at the end of the movie. Fuck it, I'm all in on the spoiler now.
Okay.
I'm all in on the spoiler.
Damn it! I was trying to talk around it.
Nope, fuck it. It's 25 years old. I don't care.
Yeah.
That literally does nothing to ruin the movie.
No. But it's a great back and forth, and there's even some hint of racial politics because he's one of the few black guys on the boat, and here he is. Like,
there's one other, and I think he sides with Gene Hackman.
Yeah, he does. He sides with Gene Hackman, and so, but you see these guys who were under Hackman begrudgingly go with Denzel, but Hackman steps back. It's a little bit like Mutiny on the Bounty, a little bit, because they don't actually have, they don't have to send off their captain on a separate boat, but they have this back and forth, and then Hackman, in almost near the end of the film, takes back over, and you think he's gonna ride roughshod over Denzel, and then shit kind of works out. But it's a great film in terms of the psychological back and forth between them, but it's a lot of that Tony Scott smoky flash that he likes to do in his movies.
It is.
But it's enjoyable. It's certainly enjoyable.
Well,
film.
but it's also, you have to create intensity on this tube.
Yeah.
So some of that can be like fast cuts, even though, it's not really realistic.
Right.
like in this world for things to be happening, I guess, this quickly. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's a movie.
The cuts do accentuate. It's a certain style.
It's a movie.
But I liked his style in this one.
I do. I watched the first. This is no lie. I watched the first half an hour, 45 minutes the other night. I've been fighting something off. I told you about it. I've been fighting something off for all week. So I randomly slept and then would wake up. Like I would go home and sleep at 7 o'clock and wake up at 10 and watch something for like an hour, and then fall back asleep for the rest of the night. And I just happened to turn on the TV and watch the first 45 minutes of Crimson Tide and then just pass the fuck out again. So it's totally a Tony Scott film. Like Days of Thunder, Top Gun, it's great.
I'm not going to deny you that.
Yeah, no. I don't say it in a negative way. I don't say it in a negative way. All right, what's your number 8?
Kind of sounds like you're saying it in a negative way.
Not.
My number 8 might be higher on your list. The Poseidon Adventure.
It is number 10.
Is it?
So we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yes.
It is a genuine, I think, classic.
Yes.
Because I revisited it. I think the first time I saw it, I might have said it on another show, but I think it was like on a Saturday afternoon or something. And I can't remember how old I was, but I've been watching movies for a while. I had heard of it.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and I was like, wow, this is just as good.
Yeah.
It still holds up. Like, you care about the characters by the end of it and the struggles that they have to go through and who makes it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
You feel for all these different people, and the sets are really done well when that thing, what is it, a tree or something that tips over and they have to use that? Yeah.
It's a Christmas tree, yeah.
The size and the scope of it, you can tell it's this huge, big thing that they built, and it feels very real.
Yep.
And it held up way better than a bunch of 70s action films do.
Yeah.
When you have an expectation of, the Tony Scotts of the world.
Right.
You've seen Michael Bay. You've seen like all these fast cuts and all this other different stuff. And sometimes the 70s don't hold up because they weren't designed or structured that way.
Yeah.
And if you're used to a specific style, it doesn't really work. But this one, just so good. Plus Hackman's
great.
Just crushing it.
Yeah, man. And his storyline is really interesting. He's a former reverend who's questioning God.
Yeah.
He's having trouble reckoning some things that have happened with God. Like he's just like, and it's a crisis of faith he's having on the ship.
Yeah.
And it's so ironic. All this happens, and he has to battle another alpha male in Ernest Borgnine, who's a former cop, or a cop, I think, still. And they lead this band of survivors out through the ship that's turned upside down.
Mm-hmm. It's been capsized.
It's been capsized, exactly.
Hit with a rogue wave or something.
Yeah. Leslie Nielsen is the captain of the ship, which is a great little random cameo. But this is a great cast. Ernest Borgnine, like I said. Edward Albert, if you remember him from Chico and the Man and from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka, rather, in the Chocolate Factory. Shelley Winters, Red Skelton, just a bunch of great, good character actors throughout this. Oh, and Connie Stevens, I think, is in this as well as Ernest Borgnine's girlfriend, the blonde
I'd
or
have
wife.
to look
rather.
it up.
Yeah, I think that's her. But all this goes on, and then every one of these survivors has their separate storyline that they're working out. Like the brother and sister, I don't know the actors' names, but the sister is shell shocked the whole time, and the brother has to get her through it. The old guy is coaching her through it. Yeah,
I mean, they're average people now hit with a truly traumatic experience.
Yeah,
and each is processing it in their own ways.
Yep,
and then there's the reality of the initial and then the reality of the situation that you're currently in.
Right.
Because you have to get over the shock of what in the world is going on to now, what do I have to do to get out of here?
Yeah.
What is going to get me off of this? And you're following certain people. You're putting your trust and your life in individuals' hands that you just met.
Yeah.
You're thrown together now, and you're all trying to survive. You're rats leaving a ship, trying to jump ship.
Yeah, and it's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours. It's not a short movie.
Yeah, but the pacing of it works
it's so great,
so well.
Yeah,
once they don't take a laborious setup to get to, it's a nice even keel where they meted it out, certain action sequences into character interactions and whatnot throughout. Gives it a nice ebb and flow where you don't need the consistency of just dramatic action. Sometimes the emotional between the characters is equal to it.
Yep,
and they use that to kind of push the story along. It's really good.
Yeah, and the thing is, when the deaths come, and the deaths come in this movie, which is what makes the movie so great. They're so out of the blue, and some are very moving. And so it's interesting who survives and how they survive, and interesting how people die, and especially a certain death that you're just like, wow, I didn't think they'd do that, and they did it. And it's brilliant for an adventure movie of that time. So 70s, which is
very
great.
70s choice.
Yes, it is. Yeah, very good point.
Yeah,
Matt. It is.
Now when they do it, it's just like the Poseidon, the remake.
That was a piece of dog shit.
You don't care.
Yeah, I was so mad at that film. Because, look, Richard Dreyfuss is about to suicide himself. Now other people are dying so he can survive. Fuck you. If you're going to kill yourself, kill yourself. The other people shouldn't die who wanted to live because your stupid ass didn't kill yourself when the wave was coming and you were hanging off the edge of the ship. I don't give a rat's ass about you. Anyway, that's my opinion about that. I was so mad at that remake.
You could do it from even more pious position, saying that, who cares? Who cares? What's your number 9?
All right, my number 9 is Titanic. It's a little low on the list.
Didn't make my list.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to make your list.
It's a fine movie. It doesn't speak to me as much as I totally get why.
Yeah.
It's a movie of a generation. It just, I was a little bit older, and at that point, it was like, fuck this. God, I was in that mood in my life, and I never opened my heart.
That's fair. Well,
I don't think it's a bad movie.
Celine Dion wants you to open.
I know. That's why I chose. I don't think it's a bad movie or anything. It just doesn't speak to me the way it does, and I totally get it. Right. So I'm glad it made your list.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's maybe 5-10 years ago it would have been higher. But but it's like the thing about this film is that I admire the technical achievement of the film, but it does not hold up as powerfully as I was hoping it would, and as some of the other James Cameron films have held up. I saw this recently, maybe 6-7 months ago, and I found myself looking at my phone a lot during the movie. Because I don't need to pay attention to that scene. I don't need to pay attention to that scene.
Yeah.
Like that whole subtext with the two lower guys, the Latino kid and the Irish kid, you don't need them at all in the movie. Like, you just do not need that whole subplot at all in the movie.
No.
DiCaprio is just fine with his relationship,
Sure.
trying to figure that out with Kate Winslet. That's what you need. And so when later on when they're getting into situations where they might die, you're just like, ugh, okay, who cares? Like, so that's so that's why I moved down. But the technical expertise of this film that James Cameron was able to do with this film, building the Titanic to 9/10 its size, like, that has to be respected in my opinion.
Sure.
The script's not that great, but I think Kate and DiCaprio do a great job trying to bring that thing to life. And everyone else, David Warner, Billy Zane's a mustache twirling villain, yeah, absolutely, but he's having fun being this villain. But there's still some nice moments with Bill Paxton and the older lady, I forget who the other woman is that's there with them. But like, there's a nice interaction between the older lady who's supposed to be the older Kate Winslet with that crew, and then
without a doubt,
ship.
that was beautifully acted.
Yeah,
especially from her part, and when she has her big emotional scenes, you feel it so well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
respect that.
The Billy Zane is such a weird choice, given that everybody else seems to be taking it seriously.
Yes, they do.
And he's like literally like kind of young Thurston Howell, not quite there. Maybe once you've lived in the eccentricity for a while, just keep spinning more and more out, you end up there.
Yeah.
But it's a snooty. I look down at literally everybody is below me. I am a robber baron.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing, are the son of somebody who's actually important.
Right.
By the way you act. Just ridiculous.
And I'm a massive Titanic fan. Like, I go to the exhibits whenever they come through town.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Great historical stuff.
When I was a kid, they did they found the safe underneath, and I remember watching the reveal, and I read Titanic books, and I've been fascinated. I've known Robert Byrd's name since I was whatever age that is. He's the guy that was in charge of that exploration.
Yep.
So I was on the outside. I was like, and it's just like, it's a really big love story, and the Celine Dion song, and it's just like, damn it, this is not my Titanic. This isn't. Mm-hmm. There's a terrible, like, I want to live the experience as opposed to this lovebird thing.
That's fair. A Night to Remember is an awesome 1950s film that also covers the Titanic, like the sinking. That's a great classic film if you ever get a chance to watch it. And it almost took the spot. But it's a little bit under 2 hours, and I just admire the fact this is a 3-hour film that was successful. Another great documentary is the A&E documentary on the Titanic. If you can find it on DVD, it's a 3-hour documentary on it. It is incredible. Incredible. It goes from the building of the ship all the way to what happens and then what happens afterwards. And they have an interview with the only still living survivor, and she's like 97 years old. She was 5 years old on the ship. And so it's fascinating to hear her talk about what she remembers. And so it's such a great doc. If you could, I have it on DVD. I bought it as soon because I watched it, and I was like, this is incredible. So I would say, if you don't want to watch Titanic, the movie, watch that documentary. You'll get just as much out of it. All right, so my number 8 is Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl.
That is called a punt.
Yo, all right, fair.
That is called a punt.
Fair. It was tough to put it this low, but the other ones I just love more for whatever reason. All
Okay.
right. What's your number 7?
7, The Abyss.
That's my number 7.
Is it?
Boom.
Perfect time. I'm going to put
Such a great film.
check mark next to that, even though that will not end up at number 7, but it deserves recognition.
Yes, it does.
We'll call that the Mackenzie Horner.
Hey-o.
It's a perfect synchronicity right there. Yeah, I remember seeing this in the theater, and the water alien thing was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen, and it still holds up when you watch it now, and you're like, that is so impressive to this day.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is early, computers can do some shit on film, like legit.
Oh, yeah.
This helped announce, look how amazing this character is.
Yeah.
Early on, too, because people still screwed it up for the next 5, 7, 8 years.
Yep.
So every once again, like it went from you get 1, 2 good ones a year to 4 out of 25.
Yeah.
And then it's like 6 out of 28. And it keeps building a little bit, and then we're better about it now. But there's still every once in a while you're like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
You guys have to know this is bad, right?
You're aware of how terrible this is, aren't you?
This looks nothing like anything else in the scene, so it looks cartoonish. Like, this was the choice? You guys spent, you use how many production companies to make this? Wow.
Yeah.
So much money wasted.
It's true.
Whereas in The Abyss, that coupled with their, what are they mining down there? Is it is like natural gas? Because they have a coupling, or is it oil?
It's oil. I think it's oil. Yeah. I think, damn, I don't
Because they're like
remember.
underwater roughneckeckers, basically.
Yeah.
And they're down there. They've got one main central base.
Yeah.
And then they've got these little manned operations that could go out, and something drags them down.
Yeah.
They were dragging. Yeah, they get drugged down. It's almost like when a sail gets clipped off and that turns into a sea anchor and tear a boat down. Same shit, except this is going down the Marianas Trench or something like that, where I don't know that we've gotten to the bottom of that just yet.
Yeah.
So if you get dragged down, there's another. That's a terrifying, because now it's submarine with windows.
Fuck all that, man.
So you see the basically, the Grim Reaper's tomb below you, and this pitch black death. Like, oh, but the movie is, it takes a weird twist at the end.
Yeah, but
I like it.
Yeah, it earns it, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I liked version 1 of the aliens, and then version 2 threw me off.
Yeah.
Kind of, I was expecting one thing. It doesn't, I guess it depreciates a little bit from the overall effect, but it was still, when I saw that in the theater and it rises up out of the water and the ships come up, I mean, my mind was blown.
Yep.
Absolutely blown. It still looks pretty good today. Not as good as the water creature.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Well, to me, everything Matt said is absolutely right, and I agree with completely. I remember seeing this in the afternoon on a Saturday in Virginia.
Stellar cast.
At Springfield Mall. Great. Yeah, I walked out of that thing, and I was like, I couldn't catch my breath because it was incredible. And it was so good, and the story was great. And the scene with Master Antonio and Ed Harris when she drowns, fuck me, Matt. I remember just crying because it was just like, his scream of pain and loss.
Yeah.
It was so I'd never seen anything like that on screen, and it broke me watching that, to love someone that much and have her die right in front of you.
And you start taking it out on her, but he doesn't mean it. He's like, leave David, like, he's hitting her.
Right.
But it's also his fear of now not having her.
Yes.
And Ed Harris is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of this, the synchronicity, I guess, of his wedding ring is the only thing that saves him early on, and then he saves her after that, but she also saved him. Like the bond between the two of them is so strong. You're like, in the middle of an action movie.
Yeah.
And Michael Biehn is a great Looney Tunes guy.
He is fantastic. What's he suffering? Do you remember what it's called?
Oh, the bends.
The bends. That's right. The bends.
Yeah. He didn't decompress slow enough, so then I think it's the nitrogen, balloons too large afterwards, and it gives you like poisoning and whatnot. It's it'll kill you after a while.
And he starts cutting like his arm and shit to figure it out. But it's an enjoyable film. It's a good cast. A lot of these actors I didn't see again after this movie, but I enjoyed their camaraderie.
Rare.
Yeah, every once in a while. But I enjoyed their camaraderie. It was Chris Elliott's in this fucking thing. He's on the surface ship. He's one of the dudes on the surface ship.
He was talking down to there was the heavier set, the guy that almost looks like William Wallace's lieutenant in Braveheart.
Yeah, he's the bearded
a pared
dude.
down version of that. It's not quite Brendan Gleeson, but it's close.
Right.
It's like there's that guy, and then there was the I'd say mid-30s black woman.
Yep.
She was also another pilot.
Yep.
And then the rat guy.
Yeah, the rat guy.
It was one of those that creepy that guys in a bunch of different movies.
He was like Fisher Stevens.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever Fisher Stevens couldn't get, this guy was getting.
And what's great is not just the drowning scene, which is incredible, and then followed by him bringing her back to life and doing the whole, pumping her lungs out, making her breathe again. But then later when he goes, her talking to him is so powerful too, because she's crying and saying, don't save me to leave me here alone without you. You should have just let me die in the darkness if you were going to leave me alone. And I was like, fuck, that's genius, dude. And you're right, Matt. In the middle of this incredibly intense action sci-fi movie, there's this incredible romance between them that they're rediscovering again, their relationship,
For whatever problems they have, underlying is the strongest vein is love.
Yeah.
So
that's
what it boils down to.
Absolutely.
So that was my 7. My number 6, surprised it made it this low, Finding Nemo.
But that's a punt, son.
I struggled with that one.
Yeah, well, we make our lists how we're in the mood to make our
lists. Look, I'm a bigger fan of animation than you are.
Yes, I know.
And it was
hold on a second.
I am.
Let's not say that.
I am.
Let's not say.
I fucking am.
You're better at animation than I am. But
it's not even that.
I'm a fan of it.
That shows an appreciation above and beyond. I saw it once. Knowing it more proves depth of knowledge, ergo.
Oh, fuck. I can't argue the ergo.
Ipso facto.
Ibis.
You didn't know my name was Matt Knost Esquire? That's right on the end. I can throw legal jargon that means nothing. Dude, I read, I had to go through a living will not long ago.
Oof.
And, dude, there were certain points where I had to reread paragraphs 2 and 3 times to be like, okay, so this relates to this, and then that, what does that mean? Okay, what are they saying right here? Because this was all doublespeak to get to what? You got to cut out so much nonsense to be like, what are we saying here?
Right.
What are you basically indemnifying yourself from? Like, vis-a-vis this, and we won't do that, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I have literally no clue what's going on here.
Pursuant to Section A of 42B. What?
All right, so what is that? And this is referring back to...
Yeah.
And then citing some law. All right.
It's an intense little thing. I know my parents both did a living will, and I had to sign it and had to look through it and everything like that. So it's an intense little thing.
So that was a punt for me at 6. So what do you got? It's now you're 6.
My 6 is Master... Wait, hold on. Let me see if I've got this right. No. Oh, yes. All right. So my 6 is this interesting... Hold on. 1... Yeah, so my number 6 is this interesting film. I don't think you've seen it, probably not by your list, but it's a film I come back to all the time. Hitchcock is an interesting director, and the film is called Lifeboat. And I don't know if you've seen it.
Nope.
It's a film that I absolutely fucking love. It is essentially a play on a ship. On a lifeboat. And it is this ship has sunk, and there are it's a German ship. There's American people on it, but there's the beginning of the Nazis. So 2 or 3 Nazis are on this lifeboat with these Jewish people and American people, and they have to figure out how to work together to survive, but eventually they start to turn on each other. And the film throughout becomes who's going to die, who's going to live, how's that going to work out, who's...
So it's like 12 angry men on a lifeboat?
Yeah, basically, except there's real death. Like, people actually really die.
There's an actual stake.
Yeah, and they start... And what's great is that people switch allegiances throughout, depending on the situation. And so you don't know... You can't put you can't put, like, any temple in the ground as you're watching the movie, which is incredible. Just when you think one person's been really solid through most of it, all of a sudden they make this switch because logically it makes sense for the situation that he's in and the people affected by that he cares about on the boat that are part of this. And then you have this idea, like, do you work together? Like, can you put aside political differences together? So it's just an intensely fucking awesome film with great dialogue, some good acting, and some sacrifices that you're just like, oh, shit. And so, to me, I know it's not a grand, massively large ship in a big 3-hour movie, but there is something going on in this black and white Hitchcock film that, to me, puts it in the top 5 of his films ever made. And so it's just something that I go back to, and it's probably my theater thing because they have such great dialogue. And so, for me, it's worth it.
How many people are on the boat?
I think it's like 8 to 12. I can't remember how many exactly, but it's not a bit. It's a lifeboat, like what you saw in Titanic, which one of those boats is like 12 people, and
it's a big lifeboat though. 12 people. Mm-hmm. I don't. What the hell do I know?
I don't know.
I don't know the average size
the ocean
of the lifeboat from that era. I was like, wow, and then start to spout knowledge that I don't have.
I think they get sunk by a U-boat or something. Like something happens to put them in the situation that they're in, and I wish I remembered specifically what it was.
Well, if the U-boat took them out, that means the U-boat shot their original boat.
Yes, several survivors of a torpedoed ship find themselves in the same boat with one of the men who sunk it. So I guess they retaliated.
Well, I'll tell you this, that dude dies first.
He actually stays through most of the movie.
Of course, he has to.
Yeah, of course.
He has to.
Drive the tension.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But realistically, I don't know how he ends up. How does he cozy up to any side? He literally put you guys in this situation, and one group went, he's not so bad.
He's not so bad. It's 10 people. So it's 10 people on the boat, and that's it. 10 people in the cast. That's it. It's just them on the boat. And so, so I guess they sank the U-boat, or the U-boat crashed into them, and then they drag one of the guys onto the ship, and it's one of the guys who sank this. So it's all this psychological game they played throughout. It's really just a great, great little film. So I knew it was going to be on this, but it's one that I revere a lot. Okay.
All right, so my 5 then is a punt from you earlier, The Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Curse of the Black Pearl.
Right, the first one. Yeah.
No, those other two, well, actually not even that. 2 of the first 3, which was the trilogy, and then the 2 subsequent.
Yes.
They all don't succeed nearly as well as this one.
Absolutely agreed.
This one, to me, is...
There are scenes that are great in those other films, but not overall like this one does. You're right.
Well, the lead up to this is we're making another movie out of a ride.
Right.
And the last one was what, Haunted Mansion?
Oh, geez, that was terrible.
Terrible.
That film was fucking terrible.
It's part of the Eddie Murphy run of...
What were you thinking?
I don't understand. I realize you want to make movies for your kids.
Yeah.
But, man, this thing is terrible.
Yep.
I wanted to do nothing but love you, Eddie. I do. If you know, he had a movie coming out this year and everybody's like, it's good, I can't wait. I am going to see it. I'm going to love it. I hope you're funny again.
Yeah.
Because you used to be just the prime example of the funniest man alive. For a number of years there, you were it. You were the Tyson or Ali of your age. Pound for pound, the best.
He used to. The thing is, until when he started to feel himself, everything fell apart, in my opinion. And he'll argue, because I've heard him on radio shows where he's like, I was still making money. I'm still making money doing Shrek, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. But the second you started to get like Eddie, you became Eddie, and everyone had to kiss your ass. Then you started making terrible choices, like Vampire in Brooklyn.
I think once he bought into the reality of being Eddie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where you're no longer the person, you are the entity.
Yeah, the celebrity, the entity.
Yeah.
Right, the entity, yeah.
There is a shift.
Yes.
There's 100% a shift. Like I know people that make the shift, and they're one way specifically in public, and anytime you see them, and they're utterly a different person on some level behind. But the weird thing is eventually that begins to corrupt.
Yeah.
The off time because you're on so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was Haunted Mansion before Pirates of the Caribbean. We have all that. So Haunted Mansion was so bad, and you're like, why are they going back to this well?
Yeah.
This seems dumb. Plus, when did Battleship come out? Because they were doing that. Let's turn this board game into, and let's turn this into. I think Battleship had to come out after Pirates.
Yeah, definitely after
way.
Pirates. It's in the middle 2000s because Rihanna's in that shit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what other movies came out, like maybe preceding that, right before, where they're like, we'll test any idea.
Well, this one, no one thought this was going to work.
No.
Like, when they announced it, people made... I remember the trades making fun of this idea of turning this ride into a movie. And then casting Johnny Depp. Yes, Johnny Depp at the time was basically known for doing independent films. He wasn't known for carrying a franchise, a movie, right, or a franchise. Yeah,
creating a franchise by himself.
Yeah,
not by himself, but as the lead of.
Sure, he's the reason you went.
Ultimately, he's the only reason I go back now.
Yeah,
because he's still good within it. I just wish the rest of the story around him was good.
Agreed.
But in this, man. Going into it, just pure skepticism, and then the early reviews of this is actually good.
Yeah,
like, this is actually good. I'm sure it's like fine for a summer movie, and then you see it, and you're like, there's so many choices to make this character, and they all end up being perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, I've read the review, or not reviews, but people saying afterwards, like the executives when they're first getting the dailies, saying, "I can't believe this. This is terrible. This is the choice.
Right.
This is what we're going to present to people. This is going to be a tentpole movie for us, and we got drunken Keith Richards for the kids to watch." And I understand, just as an abject, if someone told me this is what he's going for pirate, and be like, this is going to be a train wreck.
Yeah.
And then you see it and you're like, this is what a pirate is. Of course, this is what a pirate is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is a version of a pirate.
And it's charming as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you're so charmed by him in this movie because whatever situation he gets himself into, he finds a way out of it, even though it looks like he shouldn't. And even at times, you might think that he shouldn't. And he finds his way out of it. He's just so precocious and interesting and fun. And you have a great fodder with Jeffrey Rush's character of Barbossa, which is great. Barbossa is such a great villain who ends up becoming, obviously, an ally at most of the time of Jack going forward. But in the first movie, they're on opposite sides. You throw in Orlando Bloom coming off the Lord of the Rings success. You throw in... Shit, I'm blanking.
Keira Knightley?
Keira Knightley into another period piece. That's basically her entire resume is period pieces.
Yeah, but I think on some level it announced her to the world.
Sure.
Like, you might have seen her in Bend It Like Beckham, or you might have seen it like, in these smaller... That's what the build-up was.
Yeah.
Plus the effects on... the cursed pirates, whenever the moonlight would hit them and they turned to skeleton, was so impressive and menacing when they drop below the water and they're just walking in towards the shore. Like, that's an army of the dead. That is beautiful to watch.
Yep. It felt like they were trying to do that in the last film with Bardem's crew. Same thing, right? They're half alive, half eaten.
I've seen the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
I tried to.
Yeah.
I put it on one time, and then I got distracted by something, and I came back, and it was much later. I was like, I'll just watch that again some other time, and I've yet to watch it.
I respect that. You got to watch things when you feel like watching them.
I just didn't. That opening 10, and then I got distracted, and that kind of told me.
You didn't like the safe scene through the town, the Fast and the Furious scene that they did. Which is essentially what that was.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And that was the open of it. I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And I got to the reveal of Bardem after he shows up.
Yeah.
And says, do you know Jack Sparrow or whatever?
Do you know Jack Sparrow?
I liked that.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was just like, and then flighty me, I guess, that day. Somebody was dangling keys in front of me, and it's like, hey, sparkly, and I went somewhere else and just never cared to come back until 20 minutes later.
But this one just has so much magic still. I saw it again maybe a year ago, and it so works. And the guys, the British dudes are hilarious as the straight-laced guys who get into the situations, and he has to dances around them, messes with them. That whole thing where we talk about, someday maybe we'll do top 10 character introductions. What an introduction. The ship sinks just as he's walking onto the pier. Brilliant.
It's a brilliant storytelling device to tell you everything literally you need to know about this man. Even if the ship is sinking, he will still make it.
Yes.
He is that lucky. And things will go that way with him.
Yep.
So it's just a beautiful build-up, and he is instantly charming.
Yeah.
You're like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
From the moment you see him.
Yeah.
It's so impressive, man. And the fact that, Depp has now gone on to he does the bigger-ish movies still.
Yes.
Oh, I'm saying in regards to, like, action, but he's got another one of these coming.
Yes.
Down the pipeline.
Well, because I saw that one with Bardem. It made enough money that if they did another one, they could. But, I mean, of course... all that stuff going on, with happened in his personal life, that could affect it. I remember I was at D23 2 or 3 years ago,
sure.
And Depp came out as Jack Sparrow to introduce the film with Bardem, and he was throwing grapes into the audience from the stage. But he kept going on and droning on that. Eventually, I forget who's the head of Disney. He walked out and he ushered him off the stage. Like, he ushered him off the stage. That's true power. That's true power. When you go, Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, get the fuck off the stage. And I was like, wow. So, but he goes to these hospitals and he visits the kids dressed as Sparrow. So
I guess everywhere he travels, he carries that costume with him.
Yeah, he
so
does
if he
some
has time
sweet
off,
stuff. Yeah,
he can go and do that type of stuff.
Yeah, what a shock. He's a complicated human being. What a shock.
Yeah,
aren't we all? So
anybody that bonded that quickly with Hunter S. Thompson, is an interesting cat.
Yeah, and I didn't know he spent like $3 million to send Thompson's ashes into space because Thompson had wanted that as his final resting place to be.
$3 million?
$3 million.
Oh, that seems high.
What? That seems high?
You tell me the Russians wouldn't take it up on a Soyuz rocket or something
I'm not
for
going to go ask the Russians.
$2 million? You got to get it to space. You think Thompson cared?
No, but like the Russians? I don't know if he cared. Maybe he didn't like
Well, I'm
the
just saying they
Russians.
have a strong enough space program, or possibly China. Who else is sending, satellites up to? You can shop it around now.
I suppose China's a possibility.
It depends on when he did it, I guess.
Yeah.
If this was,
I forget when Hunter died.
Thompson died.
Was it 2010 maybe?
Oh, that was longer ago than that,
Oh,
wasn't it?
really? Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, we're getting old, Matt. That's
Yeah, I
the
know. Everything's beginning to fade together in a way that's
It's the
disturbing.
worst. I was on Movie Talk the other day, and I couldn't find an actor's name, and I kept going through the movies, and I could not get the person's name. I was like, this is age. This is absolute age. All right, so that was your number what? 6? 5?
That was my 5.
Okay. Whew. I don't know. My number 5. Master and Commander.
It's my number 4.
Okay. All right. So I didn't know if it was going to be your number 1. So you love this movie so much. Wait, that's the wrong tone.
It's your 5.
I apologize.
It's your 5, and you're being patronizing to me about where it potentially could have been on my list when it landed number
You're
4.
right. I realized as the tone was coming out, that was the wrong tone to use.
If you want to use that at 10 and be like, I'm sure this is your number 1, you can condescend from there because
Sure.
the disparity be so huge. But from 5,
I apologize. That's my fault.
you're still wrong. It should be number 4.
Oh, fair. All right, fine. Either way, it's a good film, man. It's such a good. We've talked about it.
Yeah, we did it on Thunderdome
Yep.
not that long ago.
Yep.
By a last-minute admin push. Got that through, basically
Yes.
encouraging the troops, hey, vote one way.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a nice portrayal of, on some level, what I assume living on a ship like that would be.
Yep.
And the day-to-day life, what is it like to go around,
Yeah.
the tip of Africa or the tip of South America. Actually, it's South America
Yeah.
because they're going around. They end up on Easter Island. Or the Galapagos, not Easter Island.
Yeah.
That the life of that, like the doctor is who we are in that because he's
Yes.
part of the world, but not really. So he questions, Crow's authority in certain situations, and then you have to look at it from his like, no, this is a dictatorship. The only way this succeeds if there is one person that commands life and death.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we turn this into a democracy, we're going to die eventually because we can't get consensus in a life,
Right.
changing event.
Indecision will kill us. Yeah.
Yeah. Which comes up when the sail goes down. It turns
Yep.
into a sea anchor. Like, eventually you have to make the choice of it's either that one individual or all of us.
Yeah.
And I am going to swing this axe with you. I know that you're buddy. This is hard on all of us.
Yeah.
But fucking swing that axe.
Yeah.
Because that's what has to happen.
Yeah, it's your
another
job.
reason we both don't like the ocean.
That's right. Yeah. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Doom someone to be out there.
Yeah, how quickly your life turns into fish food.
Yeah.
Just, and it sucks because you're like, no, guys.
No, stop.
No, just a couple more seconds. I can figure this out. It's you know that clock is ticking. That's one of those things I wonder if, because how you perceive time,
Yeah.
certain things, they seem like they last 10 minutes and it's 30 seconds
Right.
and whatnot. Does that moment feel like forever, or is it a blink of the eye? Like you experience all of it, or is it you're so focused and you can see the ship that it feels
good
like
question.
it's 10 minutes, but in reality it's
Right. That's so much longer. That's a good point. Anyway, I don't know much more I can add to that. Like, if you wanted to listen to us talk about Master and Commander, then you can go to our Thunderdome and listen to us talk about it. We've talked about it many, many times.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I think it was last 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. And
Something like
and I'm sure we've talked about it on the older shows. I'm sure people will stumble upon
it's
that
come up
as well.
on
Yeah.
other shows.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's your number
4. What's your 4?
for my 4. The Hunt for Red October.
That is my number 3.
Ooh, interesting.
Do you want to do the? I figured this might be your number 1 spiel since we're just one off from one another.
No. I knew this wasn't going to be your number 1, but you love this film as well as much as I. You love it a little bit more than I do, but I do love the film.
Yeah.
But I defer to you because you really do speak about it with a passion that I don't 100% have. It's such a good film.
It is. There was only 2 that made it higher for very specific reasons.
Right.
I love Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
We've talked about it numerous times.
We have.
Certain movies I don't ever get sick of talking about. Hunt for Red October is one of those movies because I just find it so
Proceed.
beautifully paced. It immerses you within that world, but it doesn't make you weed through it.
Yep.
Like the different spectrums of government, and you have diplomacy going on between ambassadors.
Yeah.
And then you have like various levels of boots on the ground, and eventually it is down to the nuts and bolts of who's actually doing it.
Yeah.
But you see the different strata of that, and like when James Earl Jones shows up and flashes his badge, and we're going to say that blew up, and the Red October is now gone.
Yeah.
And there's that level of and it tells a fairly complex story in a way that I think any person could understand.
Yeah.
It does that really well. Plus, I love the speaking Russian, and then if we're just not going to have the actors do it anymore, slowly zoom in on the lips.
Yeah.
And then it switches to English lickety-split, and then just slowly pan out.
Yeah.
You're like, great transitions to, we're not going to subtitle this thing, American audiences. Don't you worry. It's an American film, so it feels weird to subtitle it, whereas if it was a European film, go crazy. Do it. I would prefer that.
Absolutely.
Because the performance is more honest.
Funny you bring that up. Yeah, but I agree.
Yeah.
But this one too. It's such. The thing is, it's the best Clancy adaptation I've ever seen on film, in my opinion.
Hands down.
If you've ever read the books, and I used to have the audio books, and F. Murray would read them. F. Murray Abraham, which was great. But hearing him read Hunt for Red October was really great, and having him portray the amount of knowledge that's in the Tom Clancy books.
It's thick.
Thick is the perfect description. But then there's enough scenes in the movie that shows you how intelligent these people are and what they're talking about. The James Earl Jones, Jeffrey Jones scenes are incredible in what they're talking about and explaining what this drive is.
You mean Alec Baldwin and...
No. When they go to talk about finding the drive that's on the Russian ship, it's Jeffrey Jones who's the...
Yeah, but that's only Alec Baldwin. It's not.
Oh, it's
James
not James Earl Jones?
No, it's Alec Baldwin shows up and he shows him the picture, and he goes over and it's like, we were messing with this for a while.
Okay,
it's a great scene because that's a point at which if you wanted to go full Clancy, now you get into the breakdown of where we fell apart, and I wonder what the difference in their technology versus ours is.
Right.
And he's going to put knowledge in there and be like, we tried it on this submarine or something like that.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's my fault because I thought James got him in there and then he had the conversation with Jeffrey
Baldwin.
Jones. It's just Baldwin and Jeffrey.
I believe
Jones.
Okay. Now I was 100%. Now I'm like 99, but I'm pretty much 99% sure.
That's fine. I respect that.
It was just Baldwin showing up because it's in the shipyard,
right?
And you see like sparks flying, and they're building something. And I love it because it's a huge dramatic set piece that is in the background and is insignificant to what is moving the story along.
Yeah, and
I love that is you would go to a shipyard, I guess, on some level. This seems very believable.
Well, for me, it's believable because I grew up around Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area, so you'd see guys like that who would be sitting in places and have these like papers out and all this kind of stuff. So you knew people like that. You know what I'm saying? I would go down to the museums and they would give lectures. So you'd see these people like that talking about this kind of stuff. Brother, I've forgotten so much more than most people will know because I used to go down all the time in DC. When you live near DC, man, it is if you love knowledge, it's crack for you because so many people give these lectures and they just want people in seats.
Yeah, they just
you can go for
want to
free.
get their idea out into the world.
Exactly. You go listen to so many incredibly intelligent people speak about shit, and you're just like, this is for free. This is great, And so I loved doing that, and guys like that all the time. They do their lectures and shit like that. So you'd hear all that kind of stuff that I couldn't follow worth a damn because they're so intelligent.
Yeah, but when you see a good teacher, they can teach you anything within that realm as long as they can make the references what you understand.
Yeah,
they have a base knowledge with the audience as a whole.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I've seen teachers that are just phenomenal, and as long as you have a little bit of the common language, they can teach you complex ideas and just boil it down to simplistic, like boom, boom, boom. But it's not a struggle for them because they just know the knowledge so well.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, do that like on YouTube and you can get into an astrophysicist hole. And the really good ones, you're like, wow, that is fascinating. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this question? Well, how do you want to view that question? Because you can view it from this, and then this is my answer, and then this.
And then you're like, Eee!
Yeah, and just like, wow, okay. And there's someone just dissecting it from so many different angles. And you're like, that is fascinating.
It's incredible. You don't notice your brain seeping out of your left ear. You're just like, what's happening?
Yeah, well,
there's so much.
Start thinking about, and like, if everything he's saying is, if my brain could wrap itself around the reality you're selling, like it's difficult to like, wow, that's how it does that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, so that was my number.
That was my number 4.
That was your number 4.
Or 3. I'm sorry.
You're right. So where do we go to next?
Your 3.
Das Boot.
That's my number 2. Have we punt? Oh, we did one punt. One punt. Okay.
Yep.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Over Das Boot.
Yeah.
That's what my struggle with this, because when I think on the ocean, I think of the peril and the real world ramifications for what it is. It's me as a person. That it speaks to me more primal level, I guess, and that's why Nemo gets bumped down. That's just me.
What are you trying to say, man?
No, I'm saying
We'll get to it. We'll get to
it. Let's talk.
You trying to say I'm not primal?
Let's talk Das Boot now.
Should we subtitle this in English? We'll talk in German. We're going to talk in German. We're going to subtitle.
I only know 5 words.
Schweißen, Schwossen.
Sure.
I don't know anything.
Juden.
Yeah, Juden.
Let's see. Achtung.
Oh, yeah. Achtung, baby.
But Achtung is...
I'm sorry to our German friends. I'm sorry to our German listeners.
I'm sorry. It's a completely different tongue than ours. It's Germanic in descent,
Well,
and we're Latin by descent speakers.
Yes.
Latin influence what we grew up with. So
you probably know more than 5.
Schadenfreude?
Schadenfreude. Well, just looking at World War II, you know more than 5. Luftwaffe, right?
Oh, well, sure. Blitzkrieg. Yeah, we can get into that.
That's what I'm saying. Führer. Mein Kampf. There's a lot. If you study history, you can speak some German.
As we're just going to sit here for the next 20 seconds and struggle to keep coming up with German words to show that we're not...
Strudel?
Sure. Ich bin ein Berliner.
Yes, I am a jelly donut. Yes.
Yeah. Is it what is it supposed to be like? Ich bin...
I am a Berliner, or I am...
Yeah, but there's like something he should have had right before he gets to Berliner, or maybe it's a different pronunciation on Berliner, that it would have changed the context of what it is.
Yeah.
Just the idiosyncrasy of a language.
It's good he didn't do it during the social media age. People would tear him apart on social media.
No, because when Barack did his speech, was that in
that's
Germany
right.
or not?
That's right.
It was a love fest, so I think that they would have appreciated the fact that he tried.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah.
As you would any like dignitary that comes through. And can you imagine that if another world leader came through the U.S. and he drew crowds?
Yeah.
And people went out to listen to him? That's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. It happens so very rarely.
It does. So this movie is 3 hours long.
It's so awesome, though.
Jürgen Prochnow is probably the person you'll know the most from the movie as an actor.
Yeah, it's German.
It's all German. It's a German U. They get you to care about these Germans on this U-boat.
Well, they subtract the fucking Holocaust from the equation, in that these are people just going off after like Royal Navy ships and merchant ships and anybody that's part of the Allies.
Yeah.
That is their job. And you just see them as people and the struggle that they have, especially like the new crew gets there and then you have the older disillusioned crew.
Yep.
And just the idea that both realities are true. Mm-hmm. Because one hasn't lived through it and they're bringing in the bravado that the old one used to have and now has been beaten out of them.
Right.
And they even show that too, like maybe we can go home for Christmas and they get redirected out and they have to go out and then they almost die like 5 times and every time it's totally believable.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, man, this would suck.
It's a super intense film. And for a submarine film, you feel the claustrophobia the whole time while you're watching the movie.
Yeah.
But it isn't suffocating to the point where you don't want to keep watching. Because the twists and turns are incredible in what happens, and the camaraderie between the men on the ship or on the boat is really moving, and you connect to them. And
you do.
And don't watch the dub version for the love of God. Do not watch the English dub version.
The subtitled, it's so far superior, it's not even funny.
Yep.
That was the first time I ever noticed that dramatic a shift in tonality, because I watched it the first time with subtitles.
Yep, me too.
And then the second time around, I had a dubbed copy, so I was like, I'll throw that on. And watching it was like, this is not good. It's not. It's unwatchable on some level, at least to me.
Yeah.
Because
it is unwatchable.
The voiceover acting it doesn't match like the actors and the characters that I know them to be.
They don't go on the emotional journey that the actors do.
No.
And because at that time, that isn't really what the point of dubbing these foreign films was. It was just to get the point across what was happening in the scene.
To tell a story.
Because the actors are the ones that are visually going through the emotional journey, not the voice actors, the actors themselves on the screen. So they weren't maybe they weren't like directed to do the arc that you would see now. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be different now because it's an industry that's grown so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, sure. I mean, all those John Woo films that are dubbed are the fucking terrible dubs. They have no concept of what they're talking about when you're watching them. Yeah. Even Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has a terrible English dub.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I've just seen the subtitle.
It was on Stars or something one night, and I was watching it, and I was like, the fuck is this? I was so mad at it, man, because this is ridiculous.
It kills
It's
it.
insulting. Yeah.
It's like watching, Old Boy dubbed. Don't do it. Because you need the actors' voices, even if you don't understand what they're saying, because it imbues an emotional resonance within every scene.
Yeah.
And that movie's fucking brutal, man. And so you need that extra layer of uncomfort of them delivering these lines.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to scan down and read every once and again, it's utterly worth it.
Yeah.
But Das Boot is... Yeah, the simple fact that they, instead of going the ridiculous Hogan's Heroes route, they just showed them as sometimes people are just... You joined up because it was the nationalistic thing to do, and you didn't know about the other, and you got sent off, and you're over here, and you have no connection to this over here.
Right.
Like getting crucified for the sins of others, even though you didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
I don't know how many people knew.
Yeah.
Maybe whatever the percentage is, but not everybody knew that was going on.
Right. And if you're stuck on a boat for a year or whatever, how would you know?
How would you know?
Right.
It's not like they send a full-fledged paper and everybody gets to pass it around and read the day's current events, the propaganda coming from,
This is what is happening.
Is it Goering? Who's head of the propaganda department?
I think it was. Oh, it wasn't Goebbels, was it? Was it Goebbels?
Was it Goebbels? Or Goebbels?
Well, it's pronounced Goebbels, but it's spelled
spelled
Goebbels. Yeah.
I get all those confused, even though I've read a million things of them.
It's fair.
Because there's so many different atrocities to keep track of.
It really is.
It's hard to play the blame game on some level. Although the propaganda is, I should know it. It's ridiculous.
I think propaganda was Goebbels and Goering was like the Luftwaffe, all the shit. That was the SS stuff. I think that was Goering, I think.
I'll take it for it. Once again, this is another age conversation. I know what happened.
We just know Hitler's at the top. That's what we
sometimes
know.
I forget the names involved, unfortunately. Not even, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many that, anyway.
Yeah.
Das Boot is great.
Das Boot is fantastic.
Yeah, anyway, they're just regular guys.
Yeah.
And you recognize that and identify with it.
Yeah.
That this could be me and how many ever 20-some-odd strangers that I never knew.
Because they're young kids. That's the thing. Like, look, it's easy to be like, to vilify an entire nation or to vilify an entire thing. But you have to understand, if you do historical readings of things, you have to understand why this was happening in Germany at the time. And they were grabbing them young. And that's when you're most impressionable. Why do you think the American military recruits at 18 years old, 17, 18 years old? Because they want you not that knowledgeable about the world or having that kind of perspective about other countries. They want you nationalistic. They want to mold your mind to be dedicated to your country, physically and violently if you need to be, to get you to fight. And it's no different than what you see here in Das Boot. Yes, the Nazis are bad people, absolutely, but these people are recruited at a young age to do because it's their country, and that's what they're being told to do, so they have to do it to survive. It's a bit arrogant or conceited to think, oh, they could have done this, they could have done that. They're kids. 18, 19, still figuring things out.
Yeah, plus the groundswell within the country and the building just enthusiasm for what Hitler was selling.
Right.
And the fact that we need to preemptively go into these countries because they're going to, come into us eventually, and we have to protect ourselves. And
yeah, and you've studied the Versailles Treaty and what happened after World War I. Like, there's reasons for why it happened. I'm not excusing it at all. Look, but there are reasons for it. Look at us.
At Versailles, I can't remember what general said it, but someone said this is just a 20-year armistice.
Yes.
And it was almost 20 years exactly that we were right back in the same situation. I mean, it's amazing.
It's a good point.
That someone looked at it and was like, this is not a solution. This is a Band-Aid on a scar, like a deep scar. And you haven't cleaned this wound yet. It's just going to fester. It's amazing. But yeah, so to humanize.
Das Boot's a good movie.
It is. Das Boot's a good movie. Sometimes we get off on... So is it your number one is my question. Is it your number two?
It's my number two.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you nuts? Of course it's not my number one.
Look, I didn't know how crazy...
But listen, you made a great point, Matt, and I'd be willing to move Das Boot up to 2 over what I've got it to now. It's a good point you make. The other film is a good film, but it is nowhere near on the level in terms of the emotional journey you're going on like you do
just
on
the
Das
fact
Boot.
That these are just real guys.
Yeah. I accept this.
Hunt for Red October is not quite that.
No.
It's not the realism.
No, because you have the cheesiness of Tim Curry. That it's fun, but it's cheesy.
He would make an excellent doctor. Isn't he not the doctor? He's the doctor.
Yeah.
I was about to say he was the political liaison, but that was a different dude, I believe. That dude got killed.
Yes.
on the tee. Anyway,
no,
you're number 2.
No spoiler. Yeah, my number 2 was a punt from earlier for you. Finding Nemo. That's my number 2.
All right.
And I can move this down to 3. So as I just said, so I'm okay with that. But I will defend it anyway and say that it's one of these films that I absolutely love. And Matt just accused me of not loving animation. That's fair, but there are certain films that I do love and watch over and over again. This is one of them. This is this one I will see a million times if I have to. I know the sequel people loved and made a lot of money. It was sweet. It was fun, but it does not have the magic of the first one. There's just something about that relationship. The father and son thing is the thing that connects to me. It's why I champion films like Tarzan or Hercules or Treasure Planet, like those films, or Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Like there's something about those films that aren't 100% too kid-like, so I can connect to them. With Nemo, it's more about it's not Nemo's journey. It's Albert Brooks's character's journey.
It's Merlin.
Merlin's journey.
Marlin.
Marlin's journey, right? Marlin, and with Dory. So these are 2 adult people voicing over the characters.
Yeah.
So I can connect to them and what they're going through. He's the dad trying to find his son, right? And the son is in the situation, his fun situation in the tank. So the son is safe throughout most of the movie.
Well, look. It's just the difference of the ocean on some level isn't the peril on this. It's the fact that man is. Because man took Nemo away from him, so that's the antagonist.
But I would argue that he has to journey through the ocean, a lot of perils.
Oh, he does.
In the ocean.
Look, it made my
to
list.
Get to his son. Yeah.
It just has the stakes of it are different, and the fact that I've read numerous books and watched I'm sure you have documentaries on people getting marooned out in the middle of the ocean, or a shipwreck, or this or that or the other. Just the terror of that to me resonates more fully when you're like movies on the ocean and be like, fuck the ocean is one of the first thoughts. And man, I love the ocean. It's like this weird dichotomy.
You respect the ocean.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to.
All of it. Like it is a powerful force on the planet. And you're just like, whoa, I don't want to fuck with this. I'm cool with you doing what you're doing. I'm going to go in maybe 3-4 feet of water. I'm not going to try to push anything. I'm good. There's no way. I won't even go whale watching. Fuck all that.
I've been once. We saw a bunch of whales, so it was good.
Yeah.
But there was one lady that was one of the most annoying people I've ever. No. So it was on a big ship, and she was on the upper deck, and she was a volunteer. So there's all these retired people that are the volunteers. It's down in San Diego.
Yeah.
This one woman was sitting on the upper bow. Is that the bow of the front of the ship? And my grandpa and I were on the front viewing deck, and he's in his mid-70s at this point or something. But he's got a good sense of humor. Like we always got along, even since I was a little kid. I've liked it. He broke my balls just with one line at his funeral that he wrote something and wanted us to read and said, "Matt, I hope one day you can write a joke that your mother can hear without shame." Something along those lines. And I was like, that motherfucker got me from the grave. From the grave. But
that's fucking
because at that
brilliant.
point my most successful was writing dirty material, but I was good at it.
Yeah.
And I liked it, but I was at that point starting to challenge myself to write only clean. But he had seen me at that stage. They were good jokes, but they were dirty. To get that shot.
That's fantastic.
The rest of the time, he was the nicest man, but he would just pepper in these shots every once and be like, "Oh, that was a gut punch."
Yeah.
It's like, basically what I do with Christian. I don't do that all the time.
No, true.
But when you see somebody, be like, if you see the opening, like when the Schmodown event, and I was like, he was wearing the Schmodown shirt, and I'm like, oh, that's a great shirt. Did they make that anything other than Baby Doll? Because it didn't, the way he hadn't pulled it on fully yet, so it gave the sleeves that looked like this weird, and he looked down at just this fuck you kind of. But then the conversation after that was normal, whatever. If I could tell he didn't like it, I would never do it.
You got to play him in the Schmodown, man. You got to play him. People have been wanting this match for 2 years.
He called it out and then walked away.
I know. We got to make it happen.
It's his choice.
Yeah,
it's his choice.
We got to make it happen.
Like I feel like I've been riding him hard enough. Online. So I'm gonna ease off the.
All right.
Ease off the whip for a little while. You know what I mean?
That's fair. He's got a lot on his mind. That's fair.
A little more of the carrot, less of the stick. That's the game plan.
Bitch, you gave me a great idea, man. I'm going to write a roast eulogy for myself and just roast everybody in the room.
Why not?
That's
if
brilliant.
they get the joke.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it was just from up there. But anyway, so we're on the front. We're on the front of the boat.
Yeah.
And mind you, 99% of the time, he is one of the sweetest men I've ever known in my life. And this woman, every time a whale would breach, she would literally start going, "You are beautiful."
Oh, my God.
And giving inspirational things to say to the whale.
Oh my God.
Because it was doing it over and over, and then there was another one. I mean, it was really intense to see.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we were so fed up with it, and then she yelled at us, "Hey, you're getting too close to the end." And if you then said, if you ruin that, we won't get to see like the majesty of all this. And me, my grandpa, and like 2 other people that were on the front, that we're just standing there, just all turned to it, just gave her this look of like, "Shut up, you're a volunteer. I paid money to be here today." And we all it was so nice to have that with strangers, being like, "This woman,
Yeah.
I know she means well, but shut up, just shut up. Nobody wants to hear you."
Isn't that the best when someone else validates your
Yes.
irritation? That's the greatest.
Just the fact
stranger.
that you're not an asshole. This person is just being,
Yeah.
I don't know, gratuitous for your own needs.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be inflicted with this crap?
Absolutely.
I don't need to live hanging their kitty posters.
Right.
I don't need to hear that shit.
That is brilliant. Hanging their kitty posters. Well, just to kind of wrap up this on Nemo, it's just a great, enjoyable story, and I mean,
It is.
Ellen DeGeneres does such a great job voicing Dory and having them play off each other, especially because Brooks is kind of known for being cantankerous or. In his movies, like he's played these characters that are a bit
but he
more...
plays a lot of the funny
Yes,
too, and in this he's
which
kind
is
of the
great.
straight man.
Yes, yeah, he's more of the straight man. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all because he's frustrated about trying to find his child.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
basically it's about his growth and Nemo's,
Yes.
but his growth to basically recognize the fact that Nemo is growing up and you have to let him go out because you can't be there to protect him. You're
Right.
not going to be around at all times, and you gotta let him spread his wings a little bit and
Yeah.
fly. And to bury all that within a kid's story, and kids can understand the overall message,
Yeah.
but the complexity of it to an adult was resonant because it was so like dramatically like palpable. You
Yeah.
could feel it.
And with enough jokes, like the shark stuff is hilarious.
Yeah.
Fish are our
It's an AA
friends.
meeting.
Yeah, the fact the shark's name is Bruce, which is an homage to Jaws. The AA, yeah,
Wink, wink on
yeah,
that.
the AA meeting. Yes, the AA meeting.
So it is. How many days have you been off?
Yeah, the dentist
Brings the
stuff.
friend with, like
Yeah.
the new fish, and the fish is just so like petrified. Oh my God, there's got to be no shit left in that fish. It's got to be all gone at this point. His butt is just so puckered tight. It's true. Oh my God.
Remember the lessons, Bruce. Remember your teachings, Bruce.
Yeah, when his eyes just roll over and go black. Oh. Yeah, not having the whites, the cold, dead black eyes. Yeah, but the
scary.
dentist and the dentist's daughter.
Oh, the dentist daughter's great.
And all the great characters within the aquarium itself.
yeah.
And the voice performances are stellar.
Yeah, Brad Garrett, Alison Janney, Willem Dafoe, a couple other people that I think are in the that I can't remember right now, but just great stuff.
And
Very fun
surfer
stuff.
turtles.
Oh yeah, that's so great.
Yeah.
But all of it is a lesson of how to let go, how to hold on but let go. Like every place he goes is to understand how to let go, and that he can. And then eventually it has to be Nemo who teaches him when he's in that whole school of fish the net. He's like, let me do it. Just let me do it. And when he does it, that's the final lesson.
Yeah.
Finally, he gets it. And it's so beautiful, And I just love the movie. It moves me every single time. So, but yeah, that was my number 2. But I hear your logic in pushing it down. So, I'm assuming our number 1 is the same.
Yeah.
Which is
Jaws.
Jaws. Yeah. Oof. Steven Spielberg.
It was this is a no-brainer, number 1.
Yeah.
Because you think ocean. That's why we have the Meg coming,
Oh God.
which I hate that name.
It's based
But-
on a book,
Yeah.
apparently is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I read a book called, I think it was just straight Megalodon,
Yeah.
like 10 years ago or something.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't Jurassic Park like level great,
Yeah,
but
great.
it was still really good.
But people that's the reason Ellis is a little upset. I think Ellis read the book and he said the trailer doesn't look like what the book was about. That it looks more for audience pleasing thrills rather than what the book was, which is more exploration of like a darker theme going on throughout the book. So
I vaguely remember.
Okay.
I read it so long ago.
Okay.
And like I remember the overall, and it taught me what a megalodon was, and
Yeah.
the fact that technically, I guess it could still be around because what if it's just patrolling areas of the ocean that we can't reach yet?
yeah,
You would assume at some point there would be some sort of remains found,
right.
but the hell do I know? The ocean is so massive. We just finally got video of a giant squid.
Yeah.
Even though we knew they were there, but it was tough to get a sample because they live at depths that we can't really get to all that often.
Oh yeah.
And now we finally have like some video footage of that. So there's still huge things that potentially could be
Well, look
out
at
there.
the Malaysian Airlines. Where the hell is that thing? Like it just disappeared.
That's how big the ocean is.
Yeah, man. It's madness.
Yeah. So that's when Jaws, this huge, like, great white that it's, I don't know, what do they make that thing, like 20 to 22 feet in the movie?
Yeah.
I think the largest, usually
25.
average one is just 18 feet.
Yeah.
So it's even a little bit bigger than what it would be, but in your mind, that's how big a great white is, even though I've never seen one up close and personal.
No, I'm good never seeing one up close.
I'm sure I've asked you this before, but would you do shark cage? I think you're a no, aren't you?
I think it would depend on the day. I would have to be
What are
really...
you talking about? I mean, like sunny, cloudy, stormy, calm?
No, my mood that day.
Okay.
Do I have the guts to get in this fucking cage, get lowered into
Chum
the
the
water?
waters like an idiot. Chum the water. Literally go, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Hey, you know that thing that could like sense blood from a couple miles away when it's like parts per million, or it might even be parts per billion? Here's a bucket of fresh blood. And I'm going to sit in a cage. And the thing is, I would do it. I would fucking do it, yes.
Oh, my God.
I would do it.
All right. Anybody listening who runs a shark cage business, invite Matt and I. We will go and we will do a special...
We'll do a trade.
Yeah.
You can do a Boss Hog level.
Absolutely.
And we'll get this $1,000, trip package thing. That seems like a fair trade-off.
What we do is record the podcast from inside the cage down in the
from
water.
underwater? We got to get sponsors for that.
We got to get...
There's so many technical difficulties with that. Plus, we need continuous oxygen then for just sending down.
And there's no fucking way Cody doesn't come in the cage with us. There's no way Cody is not coming.
Well, we got Cody. Then fine, let's get Adam. We have like a separate side cage that's attached, and they're sitting behind a console right back there, just giving the thumbs up.
Greatest podcast ever.
Hell yeah, it would be.
Best episode ever.
I don't care if we have to custom pay to make that frame.
That's true.
I think it's worth it. We finally have Cody walk in with the drum. And he can play the bongos now.
the bongos.
And then he goes right back out.
Oh, genius, man. Fucking genius.
Yeah, but anyway, just Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws is a good movie.
Is a good movie. It's a good movie, guys. What can we say about Jaws? Hasn't been said.
Yeah. We
excellent performances across the board. It taught both of us, and I imagine most other people, about the USS Indianapolis.
Yes.
And it did so much that it re-educated the populace to the fact that nobody had thought about making a memorial or doing something to honor the fact that is a terrible fate for any individual. And did it in service of this country. Had to live a certain, ring of hell that I wouldn't wish on any person.
No, and they tried to make a stupid movie with Nicolas Cage that was just horrible. And they had a TV movie as well. I think David Caruso was in that one about it. And they just don't film anymore. Like, all you need is Robert Shaw's speech. That's all you need. You don't have to make a 3-hour movie or 2-hour movie about this. What happened in Indianapolis. Robert Shaw does a great job delivering that, putting you in the mindset, putting you in the water with him, and what he experienced. It's one of the top 10 monologues ever on screen, ever.
And the fact that he was plastered.
Yeah.
To deliver like the emotional. I like it because it seems like an honest character choice.
Yeah.
Because that person would drink a lot to drown his sorrows of having lived through that, and then potentially like the terrors in your dream and whatnot.
Right.
And you've been carrying this, and why the discussion of why I got to live and they didn't, and why did I have to live through that, and so to get drunk would be the only time you could actually have the courage. To go back into that depth once again.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then his description of the cold black eyes. I've never looked at a shark the same way.
Yeah.
Because what you actually just look at that, it does. It just,
Yeah.
That is a cold grave staring you back, man.
Well, that's the thing. To me, the film is best on the boat.
Yeah.
Everything beforehand is interesting and fun, and it's very...
It's good. It seems a typical movie.
Yes. Absolutely.
On the boat is when it takes it to the next level. That movie holds up for me all time.
Yep. Great score. The John Williams score is incredible. I don't mean just the regular, like, the shark coming at you score. The adventure score is really great. And they put you right in the mood of it. And the discussions, because it's 3 versions of man. It is the caveman, it is the intelligent man, and it is the guy in the middle. It is the cop, And so you've got these three versions of man on the ship on their own journeys trying to capture this creature that in essence is almost prehistoric in the size.
It's like they're Moby Dick.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And they're all trying to take this down for different reasons.
Yep. By the way, Moby Dick almost made my list. It's just not as good of a film as I would have liked it to be.
I don't know if you can turn that book into a movie.
Yeah, it's a decent movie, the Gregory Peck Orson Welles one, but it's not the greatest movie. And even the Patrick Stewart one isn't 100% great. But yeah, it's a tough book.
Did you see that In the Heart of the Sea or whatever it was?
I didn't. That's why it's not on my list. Nor did I see Life of Pi, which is why it's not on my list.
I saw Life of Pi.
Yeah. You don't like it?
That was actually the last early screening that Ellis ever took me to.
Oh.
That's how long ago it was.
Wow.
And the fact that now I am in the same world, never get an invite. Although I never ask.
You do never ask.
I never ask.
You're an insular person in a way, but you're also you're an outgoing person when you're around people, but like you're insular. Like your life is constructed the way you want it to be constructed.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
People like having you around, man. It's just that you don't radiate that thing where you want to be asked to go do things.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming them.
No, absolutely not.
If I wanted to, I know that I could ask, and
Sure.
more often than not, because I never asked, I just assume it's like, if they would have wanted me, they would have asked me at this point. So now I feel, and just like I don't,
Yeah.
But at the same time, why are we talking about this?
I don't know. You brought it up.
It's true.
You said Ellis was the last time. I'm trying to speak to it. That's
you
all.
spun it into this other. You could come around. It's not like we're in. I'm like now. I'm like going through my head of. Trust me. I have this discussion all the time of like, you know what? Why don't I ask to go do that show?
Well, but no one is blaming you. Like that's the thing. I'm not coming from a place of blame at all. I'm just saying this is how you've constructed your life. Right. Exactly.
Hurting anyone in any way. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Blaming me seems just psychotic.
I just.
Well, I'm just saying, if any person does, I'm not saying you do, but if any person did blame me for that, it's like, well, you got fucking issues, man, because I don't do anything to disturb the gravity of your orbit.
You don't.
So the fact that I could fuck up your day that much means you're off axis.
Yeah.
You're flying. You're like your moon imploded, and now you're just wobbling around.
Wow. That's
well, the moon keeps us. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
The size and the gravity of it basically stabilizes us as we don't have, that's why there's a summer and a winter. We wobble in that direction, like teeter back and forth. So sometimes the bottom is closer to the sun, and sometimes the top is.
Interesting.
But the moon helps stabilize us. Otherwise, we would be doing that more wildly and faster intervals.
So we'd all be seasick, basically, on the Earth.
Yeah,
it sounds like,
or we wouldn't have sustainable life because it would be changing the temperature so dramatically, or different life, I guess.
Well, there's life on the moon. You know that. We've talked about it.
No. There's life living inside of a falsely constructed moon.
The moon's a ship.
That's different.
The moon's a ship.
The moon's a ship.
The moon's a ship. That's what that girl told me.
So it's an artificial entity.
Yeah.
So you can make that a habitable zone because you created it. So, of course, there's life within Mars.
Yeah.
On top of Mars, I don't think we've ever seen anything.
No.
But that's how they're cagey. That's how they want to play it.
Those Martians.
Yeah. Well, whatever. They're not Martians at that point because they're not from Mars.
That's true. Good point.
Unless you're saying they're an invading force and they've just done that.
Well, when would you be from? Would you have to be born on Mars to be from Mars? Like or can you live long enough on Mars where you would become a Martian?
Sure, you could emigrate to Mars once we set up our colonies there and become a Martian.
Okay.
I bet you that does happen.
You think not in our lifetime?
No, hell no.
No.
They'd have so many people to basically eventually have their own secession if you don't build it early enough to where they have their own rights because they're a separate entity.
Do you think we'd be farther along if we hadn't cut the budgets for NASA? Like since Nixon?
Who knows?
I wonder, man.
Who knows?
I would have liked to have. Like, that's the thing that's frustrating sometimes politically. Like, do we need the fucking stealth bomber? We've never used the fucking stealth bomber.
We have no idea if we did or did not. Do you? I don't.
Oh, I don't know if we ever used it. No. But it doesn't.
I know we did. Didn't they fly sorties in the Gulf War or something?
Maybe. Yeah, the Gulf War. Okay.
Well, and then after that, perhaps in Iraq. But I'm pretty sure.
7 days.
I know, but I'm pretty sure that was some of the early reports of we're using those there. Here.
Yeah. So you're probably right. It was over so quick. You're probably right, though.
I'm sure we've used it since. We've advanced on that technology. Now we make jet fighters out of that stuff.
Yeah. I'm just like I would like to reinvest the money into the space program. I'd like us to explore what's out there. Like, what's our fear? Let's go do it. It undercuts what we were built to be as Americans as explorers. We are explorers by nature, and so people who came to this country were explorers. Yes, did they do terrible things to neighbors? Absolutely, they did. But they were explorers, and we've always pushed into the West, even all of that. The Manifest Destiny.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
entirely. But it's a different argument when the rubber hits the road because now, You got people that are elected, and within their constituency, it means more to not go to space as opposed to redirecting federal money to this.
Yeah.
And you have to take into account that it's a democracy and you don't get what you want.
Son of a gun.
I know. It sucks.
I know.
I agree. Funding NASA in no way is a bad thing.
No, I know.
I don't see the downside of it, but...
Well, we've seen Armageddon. When the meteor hits, I don't want to hear it.
Well, there it is, guys. There's our show. When cataclysm comes, that's John's third greatest fear. So it probably goes AI, simian revolution.
Yes.
And then
And
extinction level event from outside the
that
Earth.
is coming. I thoroughly believe it will happen.
Look, you believe in a lot of doomsday scenarios.
Oh, stop it.
You do. We just listed your three greatest fears, and
That's
they're all
true.
legitimate to you.
Well, to me, yes. But I believe that one more so than the simian
Extinction
revolution.
level event?
Yes.
Well, we've seen evidence of that. We haven't seen
With the dinosaurs.
AI taking over, and we haven't seen...
We come close, though.
How have we come close with AI?
Have you seen the dog? Have you seen the ones that
that run the Boston...
Yeah. Just you wait. One of those things
We're
bites
fine.
its master.
We will end up... By our deathbeds, we will still be ruling this world. Thereafter, I have no idea.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I'm going to call you when it happens.
All right, you want to do the list?
I told you. Yes, let's do the list.
We've been shooting the shit about everything.
Sorry.
That's nothing to complain about. I've been complicit in it.
All right.
I feel like we just went on for like 12 minutes after the list was over.
Am I banging or are you banging? Who's banging this week?
I think I did. I banged on the box because of the irony of banging on the box.
I'll bang this week.
Bongos
Right?
were in there.
So you do the list.
Yeah.
Okay, great, perfect. Clearly, Jaws is number one.
Yeah.
Das Boot, I'm fine with number two. Now, this is tough because Nemo is my 2, but it is your 6?
Yeah, and Hunt is my 3.
Right, and that's my 4. So Hunt should probably go there.
All right.
And then, if you don't mind, I'd like to have Finding Nemo there.
All right. I think the next commonality then we have is Master and Commander.
Yes.
Do you have anything higher?
No, everything else is on the list. Just in different places.
All right. Would you give me Pirates next? Because that's my 5. That's your what? Because then we have Abyss at 7 and 7.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's my 8.
Is 5-8 better to you than 7-7? Because I don't think we have anything higher than that, do we?
No, we don't have anything higher than that. My Abyss is my number 7, right?
Yeah, it's both of our 7.
Okay,
so I'm saying is 5-8 better than 7-7?
No, I guess 5-8 is better because it's a higher ranking to begin with. Some physics person just threw his computer at the wall. It's not fucking the 7-7 is the one.
Well,
all right.
Okay. Say that's probably a mathematician of some sort.
Okay, I'm sorry, a mathematician. There's math and physics. 7 in the Abyss.
True. Poseidon Adventure I've got next. No, we have, Abyss at 7. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Poseidon Adventure next.
Okay, I have that at 10. So how many numbers have we got left?
2.
What do you have left?
Crimson Tide at 9.
Okay. I have
Open Water at 10.
I have Lifeboat and Titanic.
Where'd you have Lifeboat?
6.
All right, Lifeboat it is.
Okay. And then you want to do Crimson Tide? Or what do you want to do?
Where'd you have Titanic?
9.
Same as Crimson Tide. You give me Crimson Tide?
Yeah, of course, because you put Lifeboat on there. All right.
There it is.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to get the bongos. The bongos! Who do we got to think? Jay Golden Eyes? Javier?
Jay Golden Eyes.
Is it Javier? What was his name? Do you remember?
Did he give it to us on Twitter?
He did.
I didn't see it. There's a barrage
It's a
of
message.
tweets. Did I miss it?
It's a message on Facebook.
Oh,
He
I didn't
posted
see it. Did he?
Yeah, on the group, in the groups.
How the hell did I miss that?
Yeah. Do you want me to look it up or do you want me to do the banging?
We'll look it up afterwards because we got to go
Sounds
to Patreon shout-outs in a minute anyway. So
okay, we got a lot. Okay. The top 10 movies on the water, yeah. Is that right? Or ocean?
On the ocean?
Sorry, okay. The top 10 movies on the ocean, yeah. All right, here we go. This is my first time doing this, so let's see how I'm going to get this right. At number 10.
Crimson Tide.
At number 9.
Lifeboat.
There we go. At number 8.
The Poseidon Adventure.
At number 7.
The Abyss.
At number 6.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
At number 5.
Master and Commander.
At number 4.
Finding Nemo.
At number 3.
The Hunt for Red October.
At number dos.
Das Boot.
And our number 1 film on the ocean is
Jaws.
Dun, dun, dun. Good
There it
list.
is.
Good list of movies. You haven't seen some of these, go back and see them. We were trying not to spoil them, but really at some point, you've got to get off your couch and watch these movies. So stop blaming us. What do you want to say?
Nothing much. You want to jump into the Patreon shoutouts?
Yeah, I got to find it on my phone.
Okay. I still have it up on mine.
Yeah.
So, do you have it up on the browser yet?
It's going to take a minute or two.
You don't think you still had? Did you close out that window?
I did.
Why did you do that? Because you said
I'll
beforehand you
find
didn't know
it.
how you got there.
I don't know, but I trust myself to find it.
Really? Because you just said I don't know how I got there. So now you think you're? I mean, let's see. Can he do it, folks?
Oh,
Will
boy.
John find
No, because it'll take too long.
the Patron page?
Wait.
It's pretty simple once you get used to it. It's on that drop-down menu.
Yeah, I think I'm close to it.
Ah, what does that mean? What is it? You're online? Okay.
Yeah, I'm online.
How close are we talking? This isn't horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend.
I don't. What is it we have to find? There it is. Hold on. I'm getting closer. I know I'm
He
getting.
thinks he is. Listen to him navigate this maze.
The reward. I know it's the rewards.
Can he do it? Is the real question.
And then, what was the next thing? If I remember correctly.
All right. Click on that.
Hold on. What's that?
Click on that.
Click on which one?
The 3 horizontal lines in the top right
Okay.
of the.
Yes.
Go down to
Yes,
patrons.
there it is. Patrons.
Okay.
Found it. Manager? Yes.
Yeah.
And then, boom! Nailed it. Found it. All right, let's do this. Thank you, Matt.
No problem.
Oh, he's got to come up. It's taking a little bit of time to come up.
All right, you ready to start?
It's taking a little bit of time to come up, apparently.
Oh, to load?
Yeah. Did you put it in? Hold on.
What do you mean, did I put it in? I just clicked the button and bam, I was on the page that.
Okay.
Do I need to walk you through the next hypertext link you got to click on? It's.
There it is. Cool. All right, I'm ready.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Matthew Hasso.
Yes. Mike Barrington.
Wiley Todd.
Camilo Gutierrez.
Anthony Casanova.
Drew Enns.
Andrew Hayes.
Mitch Newman.
Robert Haley.
Hey, the
Man of the Hour.
Man of the Hour, Mackenzie Horner.
Claiborne Williams.
Christos Alexakos.
Eric Grebner.
Philip Renshaw.
Jonathan Peck.
Alec Christie.
Frank Montoya.
Dylan Steiner.
Rachel Silvestrini.
Hey, Rachel. Jake Higgins.
George Menchaca.
Zach Butts.
Martin Borak.
Joey Anthony.
Lawrence Witt.
Ellis Menchaca.
Sean Naughton.
Train Mogard.
Andrew Marker.
Fuzzy Large.
Brian Saferny.
Kevin Fuss.
Wayne Murphy.
Dan Somerville.
Ben Archambaum. That's right. Archambault. Sorry,
Archambault,
Archambault.
Rudy A. Martinez.
Eric Ritz.
Oh, Sunjayanth Fernando. Oh, I like that name.
Brett Yo.
Matthew Picardet.
Deborah Torres.
Hey, Deborah. Joey Peter.
Eric Bouchard.
Ruben Enriquez.
Tom Costany.
Dwayne Burke.
Eric Bluer.
Phil Neglia.
Gulick Grenerud.
Ed Buskirk.
Niall Blackie.
Brian Osagura.
John Keefe.
Chris Consiglio. Sorry.
Lindsay Toll.
Hey, Lindsay. Eva, a.k.a. Evil.
Simon Brouillard.
Kristen Smith. Yay.
Austin Fuentes.
Ryan M. Brandos.
Jonas Marin.
Chris Jones.
David Mitchell Baker.
Jack Van Oord.
Josh Sachs.
Marcel Berman.
Jason Schrum.
Aaliyah Moore. Hi, Aaliyah.
MF Doom.
Cody Markham.
Colin Murray.
Oh, boy. Ingi Por Halgrimson.
Got that right, baby.
Thank you.
Robert Cooper.
Elise Brancato.
Spencer Freightway.
Kevin Shaw.
Chris Gohansj.
Ole Heskia.
Alex Ramsey.
Nicholas Smith.
Fraser Jubb.
Ashley Prowls.
Jack McIntyre.
Brandon Brown.
Daniel, parenthetically Dens, Mousley.
Alejandra Padilla.
Jason Taylor.
Simon Hofnagal.
Jay Watson.
Thomas Streeton.
Seth Shearer.
Philip Lane.
Seamus Braytag.
Ryan McKenna.
Sam Bell.
Joel Rosario.
Ryan Clark.
Matthew Lee Cravens.
John Holloway.
Josh Murphy.
Johans Schmidt.
Nice. Katie Seven.
Cecil Hops.
Eric Berrios.
Piehard 13.
Matt Yund.
Joshua Stein.
Andrew Herbs.
Joseph Britwhistle.
Yes.
Or Burtwhistle.
Burtwhistle, yes. Ian Brick Beltran Lopez.
Giancarlo Simonetta.
Andy Ortiz.
Andrew Berger.
Jim Payne.
Yuri Mugerli.
Laura Deverson.
Patrick Zamora.
Norwegian Blue.
Brian Akins.
Sean Brennan.
Davion Kinsanya.
Simon Skjodt Thompson.
Let's see. Kjartan Helgi.
Nice. Darth Easy.
Tim Koskuba.
Jacob Pullen.
Christian Lundgaard Kjoler.
Jeff Saliba.
Ian Morgan.
Julian Key.
Dan Nye.
Joshua William.
Jose De La Torre.
Matt Chipping.
Matt O.
The Cinephile Steve. Hey.
Stevie. Andrew O'Day.
Martin Collins.
Josh James.
Ryan Davila.
Dale Varley.
Jerome Cunningham.
Magali Dore.
Ricky Rivers.
Gordon Rustling.
Matthew Lafreniere.
Aaron Carroll.
Nick Dornoff.
Nick White.
Jeff Peters.
Tyler Spots.
Josh Ryan.
Jen Kemp.
Hey, Jen. PJ. Patrick Campbell.
Patrick Campbellino. Francisco Ramirez Burgos.
I always like it better when that falls to you. Will Morse.
Bar Shamrich.
Thomas Price.
Mike Austin.
Rohan Chaudhry.
Ooh, good one. Alexander Marzonia.
Nicole Lee. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Nicole A.
Nicole A. Yes. All right.
Thorsten Amuler.
Jose Goico Valentin.
Evan Zoller.
Kevin Hills.
Jonathan Chase.
Luke Larson.
And finally, Jesse Frost.
Jesse Frost. Well, there you go. There's the shout-outs for Patreon members. Thank you so much for donating.
And will we get to 2,000? Will that hold for next month?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's only a couple days away. Right now,
Yeah.
Alex Akos has been banging the drum. We've been above it. We've been just below it. We've been above it. We've been just below it.
We've been vacillating up and down over 2,000.
Right around. We got above like 2,000 and something when Alex Akos, like, hey, we finally did it. You know, like confetti. And then I looked like 2 days after that, and it was down a little bit below.
What?
And then today, when I pulled this up, it was on the page, and I just saw it. And I was like, oh, hey, we're back above. So who knows where it lands by the time you guys hear this?
Yeah.
How bad you want them T-shirts, baby?
Exactly.
How bad you want them T-shirts,
Right.
baby?
You know, because there's more to come as we're able to, kind of set some of the money aside and start going to the T-shirts, doing other things. Like, there's so much to come that we have plans for. Now that, once we get over that 2,000 mark, it'll really help.
Yeah, and we're so close. Thanks to all of you.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that has supported us.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Mackenzie Horner, you do not have to give us a list if you don't want to.
Yeah, what's that all about?
And we salute the fact that you didn't. You said,
Yeah.
screw it. I like to listen to men talk of the sea.
That's what he
Tales
said.
of the sea is what I want, and
Yeah.
it's not what you got here.
Yeah.
You got the best we could do, though.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate every one of you that do on Patreon. And to the $1 individuals, we put up there, you get our eternal thanks, and you will always have our eternal thanks.
Absolutely.
And to the people that hit us up all the time and be like, I really wish I could. The fact that you listen and support in whatever way you can.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, if it's just listening or talking about it on social media or whatever you can do, we appreciate it every time.
Yeah.
So thank you to all of you. We look forward to next month. Had fun on this one. It was a great topic.
Yep.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matt Knost, MATTKNOST. And you know what? Join that discussion on Facebook.com/groups/ the Top 10 Show with that number 10. Guys, get on it.
Preach. Preach, brother, preach. You can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And what else can we say? Thanks so much for listening to us, and we will talk to you all next week on the Top 10 Show.